Skull is our map. And we start down in the bottom right hand side of our red Protoss player. I was just talking to him before the series that he isn't feeling too confident. Let's hope he puts up a bit of a fight, as we have got our red Protoss, Team Liquid's MaNa. Up against the blue Zerg in the top left hand side, we've got Gamers Origin Reynor. He is coming through. We saw him taking down Harstam earlier in the final match of the group stages. Here we are in the playoffs. Winner bracket this time, so if you're losing this series, you're not eliminated. You just drop down to the lower bracket, where you will play, I believe, the winner of Uthermal versus Nurchio, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, that's what's going to be going on over there. Is that right? Is that the right way around? First place of Group A. Where's the third place of Group? I don't know if that is right. I feel like maybe it should be the other way around. Whatever. It's all the same. Alright, so yeah. I think it is that way, so... Again, that's going to be happening tomorrow as well. WardiTV European League playoffs each day. So yeah, as we see, Hatch Gas and Pool getting set up here for Reynor. Sorry, was just trying to answer questions of one of the players. So getting that up and running. As you see, this Overlord is coming through. Couple queens, couple drones on the way out. As we do see this probe of MaNa heading towards the upper left hand side, so coming across towards the top left, as we do see the link speed starting up from Reynor. Stargate dropping down in the main base. Gonna see this pylon coming down as well. Speed coming in, as we're going to see the drone dropping down a hatchery in the third. So getting that up and running as well. These couple of links continue to chase down that probe. This probe in a little bit of trouble. Depth on the way up, Oracle as well. Okay, continuing to tick along there in progress as the next probe starts up as well for MaNa. So nothing too crazy to start this ZvP. Sorry, distracted by scheduling issues for tomorrow, but think we're going to be able to sort it out, so shouldn't be too much of an issue in the end. Sorry, was just getting that sorted, but should be back on track now. Oracle is coming in from MaNa and just going to be seeing the gateway at the front, going to be finishing the wall off. A couple more queens on the way out as well. Robotics facility dropping in on the natural, so pretty fast robo opening after the Stargate. I mean, we've seen this from Gung Fu Banda earlier today against Nurchio. Nothing too crazy, nothing too ridiculous. As this Oracle comes around up to the top to see what's going to be happening. So that Oracle comes around to this top side, and that hatchery is going to be sighted. A couple of queens from Reynor are heading over to the right as well. Just going to see this drone coming through too. That's going to get picked off, and also just going to have MaNa with this Oracle is also flying around up on the top side of things. Zerglings from Reynor hanging out down on this bottom end. A couple of queens doing some more damage to those Oracles as well. Spore Crawlers starting up on the third base. Queen taking some extra damage. And Spores will not be enough to protect you, and the Oracles are going to be able to get a kill. As well, I guess the two extra gates, Templar Archive should not be too far off going in towards that Archon drop follow-up here. So, getting that set up ready to go. More drones coming through. A couple of gateways building as well. And the charge going to be starting up. Zerglings of Reynor Heading in towards the upper left-hand side, and the Oracle of MaNa coming through, going to be able to pick off a couple of drones. So true drones already taken down, and just going to be seen again. The lair also building up on that natural. As the charge upgrade coming in on the Twilight Council. Charge coming into play. We do see the third Nexus of MaNa dropping into position as well. Zerglings of Reynor continue to come over. The Oracle hanging out overhead and a couple of pylons dropping down too. Zerglings not going to be able to do too much just yet. We saw Reynor against Tarsum playing a very kind of aggressive style of play and just units all over the map on this one. And the Lurker's obviously coming up eventually too. See if he plays the same sort of style as... I don't think Reynor even noticed that he killed the Stalker here and that he had access through into the base. He is in trouble across the map though. Supply blocked actually because he loses an Overlord, so MaNa might be able to get a lot done with these Archons, and I think he's realizing it. As he is going to get those drones are pulling into a stack in the corner. Those Archons going to have the time of their lives. Drones are still in trouble in the back here. Oh my god. These drones are just being chased. This is an absolute disaster for Reynor. 16 workers down. This is not how this opening was supposed to go at all. So 16 workers lost already. Huge losses here early on as drones chased away again. Those Archons continue to come through. Another Zard also warping in. Queen running back. Another one warping in underneath. And again, just going to see that Spore Crawler taking more damage. So the damage being done here is going to be seeing the drones being picked away at. Queens pressing forward. Going to get, well, one of them picked up. I mean, more Zards warping in. MaNa has the charge. He is going to lose the prism though. So these Archons will eventually die, and Archie is going to try and save it with the recall. Roaches will try and jump on it, but will not be successful. Man, this was very good for MaNa. He did so much damage with all of this. He did so much damage as we do see the Evolution Chamber dropping down on a natural Oracle. Working its way through the Queen on the third base there. So MaNa is still trying to do some bits and pieces. Reynor, after all of this, is just going to drop down another hatchery. Hydra stand in the back of the main base, and just seeing that Oracle still chilling out here. Its brother coming up as well, has been back at home setting up some, well, I thought it was setting up some defense, but apparently not. It was just back at home. The Warp Prism Archon picks off the Overlord on that high ground, and well, in the end, I mean, even losing the Prism in one of the Archons, I think for the damage you dealt here as MaNa is pretty amazing. And you can see MaNa's already just built up an army that he's kind of happy to just go with, I think. Reynor making a mistake, starts a second Hydrogen when he already has one building. And things like this, he's just fallen apart a little bit in this game number one. Definitely not quite the game he's been looking for here just yet. Oracles are looking for a way to get something done. More of an army coming up through the center. Or Prism in the front. How many Immortals are in this? There's one in the Prism. Is it just the one? There is a... Oh, wow, it is just one Immortal. Wow. Lots of Archons though. Tons of Archons. I don't know what Reynor really does to defend this. He's down an army supply with a pretty lackluster army in terms of what's in it as well. Like Lings, Roaches, etc. He's already kind of backed away towards that ramp, and... Well, MaNa's just going to sit on the low ground. He also peels a few Zealots off to go up the natural. Yeah, then he is just going to say, you know what, let's not mind about that base. And those force fields, well, there's no Ravagers going to break those force fields. The splash damage of these Archons is ridiculous. Queens are dying, Roaches are dying. There's a few more Zealots come up this ramp. Reynor just took too much damage from that first Archon drop. We've also got Zealots over here fighting drones. Everything falling apart for Reynor in game number one. And it looks like MaNa is going to get off to a great start in this winner bracket match. GG is called. MaNa picks up the first map, and Reynor. See what happens. The top right, bottom right hand side on Acropolis, our red Protoss player. This is Team Liquid's MaNa. Top left hand side, our blue Zerg Reynor. Nice large map Acropolis. See what he's gonna do with it. Still excited to see always the different maps that these guys are coming out with, and or different strats these guys are coming out with on the new maps and so on. As we get set up here in the next few moments. Gonna see some probes being chrono boosted out as obviously the wall off begins from MaNa down on the low ground already. Okay, we're going to be done in the next few moments. Overlord through out into the center. Probe out into the middle, and this Overlord of Reynor is obviously still just crossing. Takes a huge amount of time on Acropolis to get an Overlord across the map. I wonder if we see the Stargate just to clean out this first Overlord nice and quickly with a Phoenix or so. Or if MaNa may go for that Robo facility, which has caused a lot of discussion in the matchup as well lately. Or just completely throw Wardy out in the middle of the water and throw down the Twilight Council, the one I didn't mention yet. Let's see. Hopefully in just a moment or two. Couple things pop out from Reynor. Yeah, there's going to be Twilight Council. I mean, that's what's so crazy about PvZ at the moment, I think, and why a lot of Zergers are frustrated with PvZ is because there are so many openers the pros can go for. And as you do see this Overlord heading in towards the main, Twilight Council is about halfway done, so options really are just Twilight Council, Dark Shrine, Archon drop. Another option, maybe some sort of Resonating Glaives play here on Acropolis. You're going to see it work in larger map, so less likely a counterattack is going to come in to kill you. But I think more likely to be the Dark Shrine. Robo facility has started as well, and now the Dark Shrine can begin too if you'd like it to. So, eyes open before it comes up, and Adept across the map, just picking up info. Sees the third hatch, going to shade forwards just to try and get a bit of info. Sees the work count, for example. This is really nice, actually commits in, sees the chance to maybe get a drone kill or two. Nice block on that drone as well. That was really sick, actually. Second drone will become a Spore Crawler, no problem. So will the third. And this Adept will still shade out of there alive. This was nice. You also get to see the drone count, which is what I was saying initially. And the drone count scout is really good because that's information which goes a long, long way to help you out. So as this Adept comes back down to the bottom right side, Dark Shrine's about halfway done. Well, Prism still being Corona boosted. A few more gateways being added in. I'm just waiting for MaNa's Archon drop to come across here. This few Zergans still just hanging out. The Roach Rowan in the lair coming through now from Reynor as well. Building that up on the main, on the natural, the Warp Prism of MaNa. Just going back over to the left-hand side itself, so getting itself out over into position to try and warp in those DTs and see what I can get up to. But there's a Spore starting on the third. Well, that's a little bit late. DT's already warping in. The lair's not done yet. So we're not going to lose the third hatchery. Oh my god, Reynor might actually lose the third hatchery. As MaNa runs in, he's going to see the Spore isn't finished. And he's just going to have the time of his life. I was going to say as well, I remember back when Reynor at the WSG European Finals forgot to build a Spore Crawler against a build like this when he was playing, I think, Rail or someone. And he didn't qualify because of it. And it was like, no. Because he really was a player you expected to qualify. And, well, his timing was just a little bit off there. Didn't quite know this was coming in time. And he's even going to get another Spore here, although that's not going to matter too much because Alair is now done. Overseer should be morphing soon. Second game in a row. MaNa has put himself into a pretty good spot. There's the Overseer coming in overhead on the third base. And as we're going to be seeing 5 more Roaches building up. Now the third hatch will start to rebuild. The DTs morph into Archons, so now the Overseers aren't even needed. Four Archons in total here. That's actually kind of crazy because there's no second Prism, so MaNa is very, very confident that these Archons can just fight and trade very well. There's a lot of Roaches though. Overlord goes down. Reynor finds himself supply blocked again. These Roaches taking a ton of damage. Supply block is one of the biggest issues here because now Reynor can't really rebuild anything until he already loses units, right? So it really takes away potential for that as, well, we do see 2 Archons going down. Nearly a third. it wasn't enough roaches in the end. If this was a second prism and you could save all the Archons, this would have been great. As it stands, maybe lost more than he needed to. I mean, 2 Archons lost means 2 less Archons in a large fight if MaNa does go for an aggressive follow-up, and he loses another. That's a huge mistake as well. So many low health roaches here too that he could just one-tap. He's obviously looking for that Overlord kill. Roach speed going to be done soon. Reynor droning up. Still no third base, by the way. Struggling with that because he is oversaturated on the natural too, so it's maybe somewhat of a saving grace for Reynor here at the moment that MaNa doesn't have a third. If MaNa had a third, I'd actually be really, really concerned for Reynor. As it stands, maybe there's some little bit of hope still in play. Overlord goes down, the Archon in the center, picking away at these creep tumors. Infestation Pit coming up on the third base. Archon lifts up again. Roaches still chasing this down a little bit. Warp Prism escaping out over to the side. Couple more creep tumors on the way out now, and again just going to be seeing the shield batteries pile on. All of this coming up. A couple of DTs from MaNa also coming around here. Seeing where they can go. Warp Prism into the main with the Archon as well. Queen, Roaches, Warp Prism. All of this gathering together at the moment. A few more Ravagers going to morph in as well. So a lot of Ravagers currently on the way through here. MaNa coming across to the left side with some more of his army. I just feel like, imagine you had 3 extra Archons in this. It would be so much scarier. That would be, that really was kind of the one downside of this from MaNa, just losing a lot more than he needed to. It was just massing Roach Ravager. 68 drones, and again, with the Archons lost, I'm not sure MaNa can really do much to this. He's building double Stargate. There's a follow-up to this as well. I don't think MaNa's really going to commit too heavily into this. I think he sees the Roach Ravager. I think he looks at that and says, yeah, that's something I can't really fight. So he's just going to kind of pressure around a couple of force fields to keep himself safe, perhaps. I don't think there's any world in which he should really commit into this, especially as his Warp Prism now super low. Maybe he's taking too much damage already, though. Gets off a creep, couple of force fields. Try and buy some time. Saves the Immortal. Now the Sentry in trouble as well. MaNa is running, and he needs to keep running. Great force field. That was actually amazingly placed. That bought MaNa a lot of time, and, well, needs to keep moving, though. Get to his third base. He's got more Zealots here. Another Archon morphing in. Reynor suddenly building Swarm Host, though. I feel like MaNa is letting this game number 2 slip between his fingers. Few mistakes after killing that third hatchery is he's going to turn to fight this. Remember, this is still only Roach Ravager. It's not the most amazing of army compositions. It's definitely something that can still fall apart. Nice lifts on those Immortals, dodging the Corrosive Bilefire. Be so careful with the Warp Prism against those Corrosive Biles as well. Immortals getting dropped off. More Zards showing up, although taking a while to get here. Reynor lost a fair amount here as DTs are going and having a bit of fun. 6 workers killed. Swarm Host for a moment or two in trouble as well. It's a good scout on the Swarm Host. MaNa looks as though he's still committed to building these Phoenix, so setting up into that. GT in the main trying to run to the corner will not be successful. Maybe could have been saved by the Prism. Maybe only just, but doesn't quite happen. Well, Reynor's pretty much maxed out, and how on earth does MaNa survive an army like this? He's going to need some really incredible micro and control in these next couple fights. Or maybe something to try and buy some time as well. Archon's in the main. A reasonable way of trying to achieve something here. I mean, better than just playing with nothing, but it's also just more units he doesn't have to defend at home, so keep that in mind as well. As Zard's coming in here also. Warp Prism is going to get recalled. Man, he lost another Archon. This army is going to be... I mean, I don't actually know what you do to hold on against these Locusts. There's nothing that kills Locusts here. Like, there's only 1 Archon even. There had to be 2, but... I mean, again, 2 Archons, not really the splash damage you need. You need a lot more than that, and you can just see the Locusts are being killed by anything as MaNa is being overrun on this third base. Again, this is a shame because this isn't quite how I think this was meant to go. But it is the way it's going to go. Again, MaNa just too aggressive. The extra Archons that then got killed off and all those little things. Imagine again, just has these Archons maybe pull this attack. We saw the Roach Ravager dying in the center. Imagine the Archons were in there, more splash damage. Good response from Reynor in the end, and again, MaNa just lets it slip away. And this is going to be tied up 1-1. As you see that Immortal going down, the rest of these probes going down across the map. Zealots are going to get cleaned up as well. And the Locusts coming back through just to throw themselves at another army of MaNa or another building. And MaNa's really going to be kicking himself. He's got to look at this and just say, man, this is a game that I probably shouldn't really ever lose after killing that third, and I've given him a chance up to be up 2-0 in this series. GG is called. Reynor picks up game number 2. And it is tied up 1. So the top left-hand side, our blue Protoss player from Team Liquid. We're tied up 1-1 going into Cyber Forest. We have got MaNa. Into the bottom right, our red Zerg. Reynor. Alright, so game 3 of this series as the probe of MaNa comes down to the bottom right-hand side. Looking to see what's going to happen. A couple of drones on the way up. And obviously, again, MaNa comes off of a loss that he's got to be kicking himself about. Really, really had that game under control when he killed the third base, but got a bit too aggressive with Archons, lost a bit too much. Reynor got himself way back into it from there. I was surprised MaNa went so far forward with that army as well that ended up losing him then another couple of units, and then obviously Reynor countered. Because obviously he saw with the hallucinated Phoenix how large the army of Reynor was. He must have seen that and known that he couldn't fight, but just got a little bit too ahead of himself, trying to clean up some of the creep spread, etc. As you now see that extractor coming in on the main base, hatchery on the third. So hatch, gas, and pool are opening here. Obviously the probe was just blocking here, so Reynor takes the base up to the top side. Doesn't really care too much. Just sets that up pretty much right away without too much concern. Okay, so that's just about halfway done as probe scouting around. Zealot is on the way up on this gateway. Second gate coming down too, so there's actually a little bit more of an aggressive opening from MaNa. Going to be an early Zealot and a couple of Adepts then. So he's forced this third hatch out of position, or the natural hatch out of position. And now he's going to take advantage of that with the mobility of the Adepts to jump between those two bases. So setting up for that right now is a few more Zerglings on the way out, that hatchery finishing. But yeah, 2 Adepts on the way. Reynor sees it. Overlord comes in, and immediately now Reynor knows, okay, well, I'm going to have to make a good amount of links to deal with this. And that alone is damage dealt by MaNa, right? He can keep Reynor at a very low worker count by making sure that he's making enough units to defend these Adepts. So as the Nexus starts, yes, it's delayed for MaNa, but so will the drone count be delayed for Reynor. We'll see how much damage these 2 Adepts can do as well. Backed up by a Zealot, which is already across the map as well. Let's see how this goes. What's up, Demarga? Thank you so much for the 150 viewer host, by the way. Appreciate it. As the Zealot and the 2 Adepts continuing down to the bottom right side. 2 Adepts will go shading through in towards the natural. And we are going to be seeing the Queen deal some damage down the third, so the Adepts into the main. That's going to be where they try and deal some damage. No other Adepts beyond this, actually. And the Zealot heading back home too, so MaNa really has just been happy to make Reynor make Zerglings. However, Reynor's kept making Zerglings to the point of this looking like it could be a Zergling flood. So more and more Lings on their way up. And these 2 Adepts still continuing through. A couple of Lings sneaking in towards the natural. Up in towards the main. Okay, so there's going to be Ling speed finishing. There is now drones on the way. So MaNa just has to defend these initial few Lings. Is one probe already in some trouble. That Adept going to be kept busy getting rid of that Zergling. Those 2 Adepts here are looking out to also see what else is going on. And Zealot still just holding this wall. Overlord flying around a little bit. Robo facility coming up to being about halfway done. 7 more drones coming out. Dark Shrine dropping down. So all of this coming up at the moment. And it was straight into the Dark Shrine here as well. Just the Twilight from the start. Need the tech choice you wanted to make. Bless me. Yeah, kind of knew what the tech choice you wanted to make was, so straight into that from the 2 gate opener. Obviously, it's a little bit different from where you're expecting to be, but making something of it is what's important. Well, Prism Corner boosting then, and again, Reynor with these Zerglings still running around to try and see what he can do, where he can go. Another pylon dropping in as well. This is Simulator about to finish on the natural. And just a few Adepts from MaNa moving forwards here. Gonna be able to deal some damage to a couple of those lings. So lings running through, and you see one of the adepts getting caught. They have a couple of adepts getting lifted up, drop back down. A little bit of dancing here at the moment. The Stalker going to keep on firing against that Overlord. So Overlord taking a few more hits, and he's going to be taken down now. So Overlord will indeed fall. Lings continuing down to that bottom right side. We're going to be seeing the few DTs warping in as well on that Prism, morphing straight into Archons. I'm just going to turn and jump onto that couple of units morphing in. That's nice though. I mean, there's a lot of damage already on the Archons, so now you've got to be way more careful as MaNa in terms of being able to harass. It's going to be a while until that Archon is truly back up to health, so this does slow down the harassment quite significantly. Nice catch by Reynor with those few things. With Roaches already out too, obviously dealing with this Archon attack becomes that much easier anyways. As those Roaches moving around in the main base. Two Archons coming across through into the natural. Lord's taking some damage, and the base is going to be seeing a Queen going to be jumped on. The Queen's getting chased down. Drone's taking some damage. Roaches from Reynor hanging out. We're going to see an Evo Chamber dropping down as well. Charge on the way up. Immortal being chrono boosted out as well. Forge also coming through. And that's coming up to being just about halfway done, or just about completed in the next few moments. So that's going to be done soon as the Archon's dropping in. Queen and the Overlords in the natural. Prism again picking up some damage onto these Roaches. Overlord continuing to back away. Roach speed starting up. Two more gates building in the main base, and again the War Prism of MaNa still just flying around out into the center of the map. Charge. It's just over halfway done now, and still just waiting to see what MaNa's follow-up will be. He is building probes though, so going up to third base and looking to really macro this one out. Reynor's still just building Roaches. 69 drones, building one more now, but 3 bases going up to the 4th. There's the Infestation Pit again. It did feel like potentially maybe again another attempt of Swarm Hosts here. And we have the charge upgrade. Not far from finishing. Again, Hatch taking some damage. Roaches to the right-hand side will be able to push those Archons away. A couple more simulators and the cannon dropping down as well on the 3rd. And this army of MaNa still moving around a little bit, trying to see where it can go. Reynor morphs in another Ravager. Overseer overhead also coming through. 2 more Archons added in. MaNa's going to start pushing. 57 probes. Seems to be the number for the moment. Lord is going to get taken down. Roaches going to press forward. Zealot taking some damage. Queens moving around as well. And this Queen taking some hits. More Zealots warping in. Here we go. I'm going to push down. Good first force fields. I like those. A couple of units. Queens around the right side have actually gone to deal with those DTs on the 4th base. That DT threat is a big one. 4th base will fall. Warp Prism loads up. Zealots to the main. Still seeing this Roach Ravager army of Reynor moving through the center of the map. A couple of Mortals turning. Lings taking some damage. Hallucinate Phoenix continuing to fly on through. Zealots charging into the main base. Going to get rid of a whole bunch of these drones. Perhaps. No, not at all. That's a lie. That's why you don't listen to casters. They lie to you. No drones dead at all. Units were in position. Well, now Reynor finally gets to start the Swarm Host, but this was already nice from MaNa. You force a bit more Roach Ravager before then having to deal with Swarm Host. The earlier you make Swarm Host, the better it is for you. Because the earlier you build the Swarm Hosts, the sooner you can get, the sooner you start pumping out waves of Locusts, the more efficient they essentially are. So, nice to, nice to kind of delay them coming up on the map initially here as long as possible. The Prism's going to take the Immortals across the map. It's actually pretty deadly in a game that's revolving mostly around Roaches and probably Roaches defensively as well. I'm not sure why this Immortal's out here, but it will be recalled to safety. And a few Zealots, if they hit like that 3rd base with a warping into the main, this actually could be really scary. MaNa is just a little while away from getting pylons up to be able to go there. Did he actually just recall the Prism? He did. I think he's just afraid of those Roaches and Ravagers on the map. These Zealots run in, they get one of the spines at the front, but that's about it for the moment. That's about it at the moment as those two DTs trying to get away. Again, killing the 4th base originally was real nice, but is now back up and running, so having that back alive is a pretty big deal. Swarm Host just sat in the center. The army of MaNa again looking for something. We've seen the Swarm Host gets picked off. Locust up in the sky is going to go flying forwards. Comes dropping down. Gets picked up by the Prism. Another Storm dropping in. Locusts are being picked away at, and still this army of Reynor, Roaches and Ravagers picking their way through the gateways. Overseer contaminates +2 attack at the last moment, 3 seconds from finishing. It's pretty crazy. What time to stop it. 2 more Swarm Hosts building. And a +2 missile upgrade coming in as well. This army of Reynor wanting to push in, but honestly, MaNa's positions have been pretty good. +2 finishing and the blink as well will be really nice. Actually gives you a lot of opportunities. A lot of this army is Ravagers, which are pretty flimsy. If the units of MaNa are able to get on top of them, and there's definitely a possibility. Blinks over to the other side just to create space for the other units to run through. Good force fields, blocks Roaches and Ravagers in. MaNa able to take some good pickoffs here. And the War Prism as well. Oh, he's going to blink on top of the Swarm Hosts. That's some really good finds. Storm now on top of the Locust as well. You can see the Immortals dropping in over here, trying to find another Swarm Host kill if possible. Oh man, those Stalkers can blink as well, and those Ravagers are very fragile units, so they will die quickly if Stalkers are able to blink on top of them, if only for a moment even. Stalkers blinking through, Ravager taking more damage, Corrosive Bowels dropping down. Another DT warping in here, army pushing through the center of the map. There you go, more Roaches pressing forward, Spine. Pressing this back a little bit as well. Still a lot of Immortals in the front, Corrosive Bowels trying to drop but not being too successful just yet. Still got Roaches and Ravagers pressing forwards. Corrosive Bowels on the ramp, not able to do too much. We've seen the army here from MaNa looking for this fight. The Storm Host Locusts are popped. Oh, is there Storm for the Locusts? They were trying to target down High Templar there, it felt like, but unsuccessful. Good dodging away by MaNa. Obviously, the army supplies are very deceitful at the moment because a lot of Roaches are very, bolstering the supply of the Zerg player, but also at the same time, the Swarm Hosts are currently supplied, which isn't doing anything in this fight because the Locusts have already been expended. High Templars do die. I feel like that was the last couple of Storms currently available. We've got, okay, that was a lie. We've got actually 3 Storms still available right now. Drops out on the ramp as MaNa pushes forwards. Reynor's Ravagers hitting Corrosive Bowels here. The Immortals huge to be able to hold on to this, but the 4th base of Reynor is in trouble. The Locusts cannot come in here fast enough as the Hydras are showing up. Move commanding for a moment, though. Huge warp in of Zealots. Storm where the Locusts are going to fly. They're going to be pretty weak. Corrosive Bowels somehow connect on an Immortal that wasn't there a moment ago, but that's a dead 4th base. Reynor gives it up, and MaNa might have just done enough. In fact, MaNa is already pushing up the ramp with the Zealots and the Immortals. The Stalkers will catch up later. He wants to just dive on this army while he can. Already a lot of drones going down, but the Zealots now dying, so the Immortals back away. The Stalkers will rejoin with the army after the 4th base has now been felled. And the army of Reynor will continue to push up the right-hand side of the map. Roaches, Hydras, and Ravagers going to catch this a little bit. Immortals going to be brought back by the Warp Prism, but the Corrosive Bowels will find 1 and 2 Immortals. It's a shame. High Templars, though, full of energy. New ones ready to drop those Storms, and the Hydras will have to be super careful of that. They are extremely low health units. Storms will absolutely pick them apart as they stack up and clump up together. And Reynor is in a lot of trouble here in this game number 3. There's a Storm. Lurkers in play even. Didn't even see those in the production tab. It's been crazy the last few moments. Haven't wanted to look at the production tab. Just want to look at these armies fighting. Well, those Lurkers do change things up a bit because MaNa's not prepared for them. So he doesn't have observers yet. And without observers, obviously, how do you engage into those Lurkers effectively? You don't. So that's currently the issue is these Lurkers found an Immortal in the middle of the map. Not sure the DT should reveal themselves to that. I feel like the DT should just go across the map. I mean, the Lurkers weren't going to get anywhere useful while waddling along on the ground. I mean, they did catch an Immortal, but at the same time, it's an Immortal. Yeah, it's still an Immortal for free, but those Swarm Hosts could have maybe done a lot more if they'd gotten towards like the 3rd base and then dropped the Locust off and there was nothing to defend, for example. So, the Immortal, while it's still not, I'm not going to pretend it's a good trade, it actually kind of saves you from other potential problems in a weird kind of way. Stalker still hanging out in the middle as we do see the Swarm Hosts on the right. And we want to drop down some Locusts. And heading up into the skies. Army pushing down the right side. Getting a couple of lurkers are the biggest issue of all. There's a couple of lurkers try and jump in on top of High Templar. We'll find one. Multiple times here. These locals have been consistently trying to target down the High Templar. This happened in one of the crazier fights before as well, which is really impressive. The Stalkers currently find their way some damage onto this hatchery. However, Lings and Hydras will clean those up. Blink away finally comes through. However, the main army of MaNa pushes up the ramp on this right-hand side. A couple of storms dropping down. Hydra's taking some damage. And we are going to be seeing this army continue to push through. Immortal's dealing some more damage. This hatchery is going to fall. Another storm dropping in. And we do see the Archon is getting picked off. Another storm on top of this. Lurkers going down. And we're going to be seeing the Zealots going down as well. To the left-hand side, Stalker's able to pick off a hatchery. Locusts picking their way through a fourth base as well. Zealots able to pick off a Lurker. Immortals fighting. Extractors going down. Spine Crawler, Spore Crawler taking damage as well. And this really is Reynor putting up a hell of a fight towards the end, but he's down to 2 bases, and MaNa can just keep warping in. He did lose this base to the Swarm Host, but he's still got 1 base up on Reynor. Pressing forwards, well, there is a Lurker burrowed here already. GGGG is called, and 4 of this series. As we have to the bottom right-hand side, our Red Protoss player who's up 2-1. This is Team Liquid's MaNa in the winner bracket. As to the top left, our Blue Zerg is Reynor. Just looking to see what will happen here in the next few moments. Oh, the WardiTV European League playoffs here today, guys. Gateway dropping down from MaNa in the natural expansion. Overlord coming in. Flying through overhead. Another Overlord from Reynor. Heading down to the bottom side as well. So Overlord heading down to the bottom right. Third hatchery dropping into place, and the probe moving around a little bit as well. Hatch gas and pool getting ready to go over the next couple of moments here. So early game setup once again, nothing too crazy. And as you can see, the probe coming in, dropping down the Nexus on the natural expansion, and the Overlord of Reynor heading down to the bottom right hand side. The probe MaNa back up into the main base. Cybernetics core dropping down. Alright, so getting this set up, getting this ready to roll. And looking to see what's going to happen as the Overlord from Reynor flying down to the bottom right hand side to have a look to see what's going to be happening. Throwing on the way up and just waiting to see the choices. I mean, Reynor again, last chance, right? I mean, again, if you lose this, you're not eliminated from the tournament, but you do then have to play in the lower bracket. Winning this already puts you in the winner bracket final, which means top 3 guaranteed, which is obviously a pretty nice little something. Nice little payday guaranteed as well, so that's all very positive as we see this drone and the probe having a little bit of a dance around. Pylon going to be placed on this natural, and a Zergling of Reynor moving up here to come and help to deal with this. So again, MaNa just being as annoying as possible early game. Up 2-1, and man, he's got to really hate himself for losing that second game now after it's going to be in a 3-0. God damn it, MaNa, you could have kept us up with the streak all night long. But yeah, setting up into this. After this, guys, we will have Hearthstone versus Namshar as well. Yes, so 1 more best of 5 after this. This was originally going to be the last best of 5 for the night, and Hearthstone Namshar was meant to play before it, but because Hearthstone and Namshar are in another tournament still, we put MaNa Reynor first, and then Hearthstone Namshar to play after. So that's going to be the plan. That's going to be what happens. Alright, so a few Zerglings still coming down to the bottom right hand side. We will see another gateway building up as part of the wall. Sentry's going to be finishing from MaNa in the next moment or two. So Sentry finishing up, and the Warp Prism is on the way out. So Warp Prism being chrono boosted at the moment. Let's see what MaNa will do with this. So this is the first time we've really seen a Robo first build Obviously, there's so many choices. 3 extra gates already, so that's actually a lot of warp-in potential here for MaNa. And there's actually 4 extra gates, so this is obviously just still increasing. Hiding these extra ones to the sides. This looks like just a good old 7-gate all-in. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, just gateway units. The Warp Prism is going to show itself. I don't think it really wanted to, but it's worth killing that Overlord. And of course, it still doesn't completely reveal what the choice of MaNa is just yet, as Reynor making more Overlords, though, making a few more drones. But if he stops drones now and makes more units, this could go well. There's the Immortal coming out with this. Still 6 gates in production, so what, 8 gates in total? It's a lot of units from MaNa, but Reynor's set up to deal with it. With the Roach Run about to be done, the Ling's on the way out. And it's coming over to the left-hand side. MaNa getting ready to push in towards the 3rd base. Couple of Queens hanging out as well. Warp Prism sitting up overhead. 4 more Zealots warping in too. So Sami comes over to the left-hand side and he's going to want to press up in towards the 3rd base. Spot Crawler is going to get taken down, so that is going to die. And, well, pushing straight into this here, just going to be seeing a couple of Roaches popping out. That's already nice for MaNa. Oh, those force fields were very preemptive, actually, weren't they? They were real preemptive, as just going to be seeing a Hatchery still taking a few shots. Extra Stalkers coming through. Warp Prism has to unseat just in case the Queen's targeted. Those are good force fields, but somehow the Queen survived. Don't know how they slid their way out of those force fields. Corrosive Vials dodged nicely as MaNa's Zealots are tanking at the moment, and I'm a little worried for Reynor at the moment. However, drones are pulling in. That usually does go a long way to helping out. Problem for MaNa is now you can't warp in without the Warp Prism being Corrosive Vial down. Too many Ravagers. He's going to try for it, but the Corrosive Vials have been waiting. MaNa baits them, sets the warp in again. Perfect play against the Corrosive Vials. One more Vial comes down, but it's not going to be enough. The Warp Prism now micros, picks up the Immortal Ravager shot onto the rocks for a moment. And MaNa still has the numbers here at the front. Pressing forwards. Drones are going to have to pull in again. Another couple of Zealots just joined the fray, but they're actually not coming forwards. Needs to bring those forwards ASAP. Oh, why are those Zealots not moving forwards? MaNa absolutely needed those to tank a little bit. Those sentries maybe should have been picked up as well. Now the Zealots are here. Oh, you can't warp in though as MaNa, because the Ravagers will Corrosive Vial it down, and MaNa is going to pull away, but I think hasn't done quite enough in the end. We'll play some juggling games with his units as he tries to. I think he's just going to give up that sentry. It's just not working. Oh man, he was like a Zealot warp-in away from cleaning this up. There are so few units left here from Reynor. Working count is low. That is going to be a very fast Ravager kill there. Obviously these Zealots don't have charge, so they're not amazing. We're going to see the Immortal is going to pick up another Roach. Zealot still pressing forwards here. Immortal's chunking away whenever possible. Corrosive Vial drops down. Stalker takes a hit. Another few Stalkers warping in as well. Another couple of Zealots also coming into play. Well, they're still getting set to go as Lair coming through in the main base now of Reynor, getting that up and rolling. A couple of units from the main have to get lifted out, so here we go. MaNa going to go with wave 2 now. As Reynor was droning for a little bit, MaNa does jump up in army supplies, so there's still some potential here for MaNa's army as he comes out up through the top. Already finding an Overlord. That's actually a supply block. I mean, how many times have we seen Reynor supply blocked at important moments today? This is real bad for Reynor. Reynor cannot warp in for 15 seconds while this Overlord builds, and that could be game-changing. Corrosive Vials do hit on the Immortal, though. At least that is a good start. Warp Prism should take the chance to warp in, I think, because obviously the Ravagers have been pushed back fairly far, so it is a good position to warp in from. Corrosive Vials again. MaNa splits away. Mortal Barriers now on cooldown. Zealots are still going to be tanking here. Reynor does feel like he's in trouble, though. At least now he can build units once again. He gets the 3rd hatchery, though, MaNa. So that alone is a win in itself. Mortal's still here as well, and with 2 of them, the Roaches will not stand much of a chance, and MaNa's numbers are a little bit too high, as we're going to be seeing Corrosive Vials forcing the dodge away of units. Another couple Lings and Roaches coming along, and we're just going to see these units of MaNa continue to press forwards. Then Ravagers are going to be in some trouble as well. Corrosive Vials kills his own Overlord, and Reynor supply blocks himself. Maybe the Stalkers helped out with another Overlord here or there, but obviously that Corrosive Vial definitely didn't help, as here we go. MaNa has a bit too much. GG from Reynor.